I'm Dan Rosenberg,
And I'm TJ Perrin.
and we're excited to welcome you to 11 Minutes with Octane 11, a B2B marketing podcast. This is a chance to talk with experts in B2B marketing about the real challenges in this complicated space and solutions for solving them in just 11 minutes. Because no one has time to listen to long form podcasts, least of all B2B marketers who are using more tools than ever and are under more pressure than ever to deliver breakthrough messaging and business impact. Today, we're super excited to be talking with Rachel Squire, founder of Mobi Solutions, which offers marketing ops, rev ops, and business intelligence consulting services. She's worked in the MarTech industry for over a decade with titles like Marketo admin, Marketo user group leader, 2X Marketo champion, and is a pro when it comes to topics like marketing attribution, lead scoring, and ROI reporting. So we only have 11 minutes, and that's not a lot of time. So let's just get right into it. So first, Rachel, please tell us a little bit about your background and what you're working on these days.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here today. Yeah, as you mentioned, I've been in the kind of Marketo marketing ops space for way too long. And I have recently started this marketing ops analytics practice and been doing that for about a year. It's been very exciting. And over the past 10-ish years or so, I've toggled back and forth between all types of B2B marketing ops and analytics and rev ops, and just getting a taste for what helps a business run and what helps us make more money. Really, that's the end goal. So I'm excited to see where that leads us.
Amen to that.
Awesome. So what would you say the biggest challenges you've seen in B2B marketing and go-to-market motions overall?
You know, that question is loaded. Over the past couple of years, like the challenges have just, I would say, exponentially grown in a lot of ways. We have all of these endless tools and capabilities that are continuously piling on, which is fantastic. But with every tool and every capability comes additional challenges, and we have to figure out new ways to solve them every day. And especially being on the analytics side, you see that constantly because this wealth of information that's always growing is always at our fingertips. I'm seeing a lot of, unfortunately, increases in sales cycles due to that specifically, because there's so much more information. Everybody has a lot more collaboration. Everyone wants to be involved. Makes it so hard as a marketer to plan and forecast and to help accelerate those opportunities all the way to close. And unfortunately, that also leads to a little bit of more difficulty with personalization. How do we know who to talk to? How do we know that we're talking to them correctly? How do we know that we're getting the right message in front of people at the right time with countless more capabilities that we have with the tools available to us? It just leads to so much more complications, but it's good problems to have. There's a lot that we can do with those, but it's something that we really have to be aware of and be proactive to address.
It's incredible. With all the tech and all the tools, like it doesn't get easier, it gets harder. There's
Mhm.
just more to manage. But it's
Yeah.
part of being in marketing. It's important to keep things fresh, and there's always something new to break through the noise, but that always brings in operational challenges for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that, the state of MarTech landscape map that I don't know if you remember like 10 years ago when it came out. It was like this big. It was so small. And I felt so cool to be working at a company that was on it. And now everyone's worked at 10 companies on it and it's gotten overwhelming, but it's great. It's great, exciting to see.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely. So what would you say are the best tools, tactics, vendors, campaigns that you've seen?
Another loaded question, but one that I love. I gotta give a shout out to HubSpot because when I started using HubSpot I can't remember, it's been a while. It was kind of a small little scrappy tool that marketers could use if they didn't have budget for one of the bigger automation platforms, or sales teams could use if they didn't want to drop Salesforce budget. And they've really grown up over the past few years. Like the robust level of functionality, they're an equal competitor almost at this point to your Marketo, your Pardot, your Salesforce. They're very close. They're very competitive, and it's been really cool to see that journey happen. And it's been cool to work with companies who are also growing to be able to fully utilize those types of capabilities and do more with it. And I found, unfortunately, we're all in this place where we have to do more with less. Everyone is saying that now, and it it sucks that a lot of us are in that place, but the fact that we have access to a lot of these tools that have been really growing with the market has made it a little bit easier, just alleviated a little bit of that burden.
Yeah, interesting. I think we're seeing that too. Even bigger companies using HubSpot. In the
Mhm.
past, it's been like HubSpot was more like the SMB
Yeah.
tool, and Salesforce was for bigger companies. But we're seeing some switches even from Salesforce to HubSpot for bigger companies. That's kind of an interesting trend to see. What would you say is one thing that everyone gets wrong in B2B marketing?
Don't come at me for this, but I think that it's really common to fall into this do it all trap. I have been in that trap as a marketer on a marketing team, as a consultant, and now as a business owner too, right? I'm struggling to like want to be on every podcast, for example. So I feel like I picked a good one, by the way. It's really hard to feel like intense FOMO as a marketer.
Mhm.
We see our fellow marketers saying, oh, the one thing every marketer in B2B misses is this
Mhm.
podcast or this white paper, or you have to have a nurture that focuses on these 9 complex things. No, we can't do it all because you got to figure out what actually works and do that. Like we had just talked about, doing more with less doesn't mean doing more things with less money. It means doing better, putting our resources in a place where they're most likely to have the most return, get us the most visibility, whatever we need to do to grow our business. We got to figure out what that is and hone in on those activities that actually produce those results.
Amen to that. That is true.
If you had one wish for a tool or capability for B2B marketers, what would it be?
Yeah, this is the golden ticket, perfect, beautiful item that everyone wants. And a lot of people actually, including y'all, you have a tool that I was super excited about because this meets that need for a lot of companies. I've spent so much of my life trying to answer the question, we have this much budget. What do we do with it? How do we get the most amount of return? And it can look like from a very top level perspective, how do I allocate my budget by channel next year? It can look at which ads are performing better or which specific events do we need to spend more on next year? Which ones were a total waste of money and resources this year? And every marketer just wants a list of put your money here, do these things, don't do these things. Here's some things you haven't thought of. Every marketer wants that very prescriptive, actionable list. And it's pretty cool to see how far the tech world has come because even 5 years ago, it was there were a lot of feelings involved in that, and we have a lot more capability these days to make data-driven decisions and recommendations on those.
Absolutely. There's no like right answer that's right all the time. It's you just have to be tracking everything
Mhm.
and seeing what's driving the most impact at any given moment across the combination of tactics and content and creative and all the elements that go into targeting and things that go into a great campaign, and just constantly be watching that to answer that question of, if I got one more dollar, where should I spend it? And if I got to cut a dollar, where should I cut it? And the answer is it's a moving target. So yeah, I love that call out as a wish for a tool that could do that, and believe that's close to home for us and something that we think about every day.
Well, and that's one thing I love actually about the way y'all do it because I've worked at a company before that had a different attribution tool that was very open to opinion, and we had hundreds of people providing feedback and how this should or should not be done. It ended up, let's just say, it was very chaotic and very hard to actually make decisions on. So I love that perspective.
So, what's one recent win you've had in B2B marketing or maybe in life?
Yeah, I'm gonna share a few. I'm gonna hijack the question. So just had my 1 year anniversary of my consultancy. I'm very excited
All
about
right.
that. And part two of the answer is to celebrate that. I'm gonna be launching a new little starter pack project next month. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be good.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Mhm.
Can you say anything more about what that is?
I can, yeah. I've had a number of companies reach out to me over the past few months just looking for help getting started with specifically Marketo based. How do I do attribution in here? And now my starter pack isn't an attribution solution by any means. It's just a foundation for how to set up your system so that you have good data so that you can get started and start running your own campaigns without having to spend a bunch of time and money on external ongoing support.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see that. That's coming out soon, huh?
Yeah, early April sometime. I don't have an official date.
Okay, amazing. Well, excited to see that. And well, if you can believe it, that's been just about 11 minutes. So it goes fast, and that's all the time we've got. So we like to keep it brief, but I feel like I learned a lot, and it was really good to get to know you, Rachel. And I hope listeners learned a lot today. So thank you very much for joining today. Just some of the things we talked about, the endless tools, the endless complexity, a little bit of a shout out for HubSpot as the tool of choice that does so many things and where they're moving to in the market. A little bit of a watch out for the do it all mindset and really trying to figure out like what are the tools that are really working for you at any given moment, because that's a changing dynamic. It's a moving target. So, but pick those tools when they come as they're working, just lean in and wish for a tool that would maybe help with that to figure out what should we do, what's like the standard setup across everything. And then a little bit of a teaser on the starter package coming. So really excited about that. So we'll wrap it here, but Rachel, thank you so much for us. It's really fun to have you.
Thanks for having me. It was great to be here today.
It was so great, and I look forward to keeping in touch. And we've got an amazing lineup of B2B marketers and experts on deck. So definitely check out more episodes at octane11.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks for listening.